Hello. Today's video is going to be a little different in that I'm not going to cry and I'm not driving. I'm sitting in my backyard. And I just wanted to talk a minute about healing because it's been very interesting for me to be on the journey of healing and realize how different it is than what maybe most people think or even what I expected it to be. This weekend in particular was kind of hard for me. There were a couple things that happened that just didn't feel good. And in the moment, I thought I was gonna lose it and kind of take some steps backwards. One of the things that happened is I have been struggling a lot with being out and hearing or seeing motorcycles. It brings back some not so fantastic memories. And I've been trying to work through that because obviously what are you going to do? You can't avoid it. And yesterday I was driving Corbin to his friend's house to have a sleepover, and we're sitting in traffic on the highway and I hear a motorcycle coming. I'm like, okay, Christy, you can do this, it's fine, don't worry about it. And it pulls up right behind us and I look in the rearview mirror and I'm like, geez, that looks awfully familiar, but I can't keep looking. So I took a second and looked again and looked exactly like Cody. And I looked over at Corbin, and Corbin had huge wide eyes. Like, you could see that he was kind of panicking a little bit, as I was. And I said, oh my gosh, is that him? And he said, yep. So the light turns green and he kind of swerves out behind us and then like cuts the lane and gets back in front of us and speeds off. And it was for sure him. Definitely recognized the clothes he was wearing, his vest, his boots, the bike, everything. And I had a really hard time with that. Really, really hard. I definitely had a panic attack. I couldn't speak or breathe. My whole body was tensed up. It was miserable. And kind of once that settled down, I just started sobbing. I just couldn't stop crying. I'm sure you're all very shocked by that because I never cry, right? So I just cried, and the people at Walmart probably thought I was insane because I went to get my grocery pickup and the guy comes out and he's like, you have the order for Christy, right? I was like, yeah, I do. So he like very awkwardly goes to the back of the car and loads it up and does not say anything. So it was probably the highlight of his day. So anyway, I get home and I rushed home because all I wanted to do was get to my safe spot, and I was going to revert back to my old behavior, the way I reacted to things that were hard before, which was going on a major like junk food binge, and I was gonna come home and I was gonna order freaking everything, pizza, Red Robin. I was gonna go to the gas station and get candy and just lay in bed and cry and feel sorry for myself. That's all I wanted to do. When I got home, I sat in the garage for a long time, just crying and processing, talking to a few people, just to kind of get it off my heart. And somebody said to me, if you are the Christy that I know you are, you're not going to let this get in the way of all the progress you've made. You're going to keep going, and you're not going to let anybody stand in your way. You are stubborn, you are strong. You told everybody you were an independent woman, and you don't like being wrong. So you're gonna do it. Just like the Christy that I know. And that really was very helpful, and definitely hit home, because I am very much like that. I do not will not anymore let people control me, my life, or my reactions to things. So I came inside, unload the groceries, put some music on, just loud, and I remembered that I still had to do a workout, and I'm really on this crazy thing. Like, I need to get through 21 days without skipping, because I made that commitment to myself. And I freaking did not want to work out at all. But I got up and I did it. And I felt really good about myself afterwards. And I came outside because I was hot and sweaty, and just sat here and took a minute to breathe and looked around and reflected, and I felt really proud of myself, because that was a hard thing to do. That was a really hard thing for me to do. And so looking back on it now, I think it's fair to say that everybody's journey to healing looks different and feels different and progresses differently. And I wish I would be kinder to myself, or give myself more reasonable expectations, and knowing that I'm gonna have good days and I'm gonna have bad days. There's gonna be a lot of moments that are hard, and it's gonna be that way probably for the rest of my life. I spent 10 years, well, almost 10 years, 8 years of my life with this person, and you don't just forget that. And so I need to cut myself some slack. And that's part of healing too. It's realizing that you're human. You're allowed to feel things. You're allowed to have certain emotions. But what you have to do is not let yourself get stuck in that. And it's interesting and funny, like, it's not like I'm going to sit here and say I talk to myself and people are going to think that's insane, but sometimes I truly have to, because if I say something out loud, it makes it easier for me to process or believe that it's real. So when I get upset like that, I'll tell myself, Christy, you are allowed to be upset about this for a day, for an hour, for the evening, just kind of whatever. So that in my mind, I know it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be upset, it's okay to feel however you feel. But you are not going to get stuck in that. Because when you do, you make bad choices, you go down paths that are not healthy, and then you just revert back. And I'm committed to healing, whatever that takes. And some days it's gonna take just breaking down and crying my eyes out for whatever reason, or maybe no reason at all, and that's okay. And I need to be okay with that. But I also need to feel proud of myself for not reverting back to an unhealthy coping mechanism that I used to rely on to feel better. Because I felt a lot better about myself after I did that yesterday. I felt really, really proud of myself because that was a hard thing for me to do. And I did it anyway. And what I ended up realizing is that through this, it wasn't so much that I made a hard choice to do something different. I did. But I also realized that that means I'm healing. And that's a good thing. Part of healing is learning how to react differently to situations that are hard. And while I didn't want to do that, and my immediate reaction was to go back to something I used to do, I didn't have to force myself to do it. My brain started kind of just going that direction by itself. And that means I'm healing. That means my body, my mind, my heart is getting there. And it's disappointing to have bad days and bad moments. And it sucks, and you feel like you're starting all over again. But you're not. In every hard moment, you learn a little bit more. Whether it's about the situation, other people involved, yourself, personal responsibility, whatever the case may be. It's freeing to learn about yourself and to take ownership of yourself and your reactions to things. You're never going to be able to control things that happen to you. It's life. It just happens. Life can just really be unfair and suck. The only thing you can control is your reaction to it. And if that's one thing I've learned out of all of this, I will be forever grateful. Because that's a really hard lesson to learn. Really, really hard lesson to learn. But I'm committed to doing it because I know that not only is it good for me, it's really healthy for my boys to see that you can have a hard day or a hard moment and you can be upset, but you can't let yourself live in that forever, because those feelings won't last forever. They do, I don't want to say get better, but they do change. So we're still on this kick where it takes 21 days to form a habit. Tomorrow will be my 21st day of sticking to these workouts and not skipping a day, which is great. But outside of that, forming a habit to exercise and be healthy, my brain is also learning in that to better process things and accept things for what they are, deal with it, and move on. Like I said, my brain just automatically last night went to a place of be upset, break down, have a panic attack, but you still have a workout to do, and you're not gonna give up on that. So it was great. It was really great. And like I said, it's been a tough weekend, been a tough couple days. But I feel confident about where I am. And even though not everything was happy about this weekend, that's okay. It's part of this journey. It's part of healing. freaking just part of life. And having healthy coping mechanisms is at the core of healing the most important thing. Like I said, you're always going to have bad moments, bad memories, or what have you. The only way you can heal is if you change your reaction and learn about yourself and accept yourself in situations for just what they are. So, I feel really grateful to have seen that in myself this weekend, and just kept it moving. I didn't eat a large pizza in bed last night, but I did order KFC. Still progress though. Still different and better than what I would have done before. And I just got home from Home Depot, so tonight I'm going to do some of that stuff. It's getting cold and windy, so I don't know how long I'm going to stay outside for. But I'll at least get it out of my car and think about either doing it tonight or how and when I'll do it tomorrow. So, thank you for listening to the first video I did without crying.